malevolence that has to be taken into account. And I think we're going to have to I know Congressman Dan Crenshaw is involved with this select committee on dealing with the cartels, but when you have over 100,000 people dying, and that's probably underreported by 10–15% because so many families don't want it on the death certificate how their family member died, I think we're going to have to reevaluate how we address this, and it needs to be a bipartisan effort. And I thank you for being here. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Frost from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Dr. Gupta, for being here. The Office of National Drug Control Policy is responsible for coordinating the United States drug control policy response. This includes policies addressing the flow of harmful drugs into the country, but also includes supporting our neighbors who are directly impacted by substance use disorder. And also to clarify, the ONDCP has been around since 1989. Once again, the ONDCP has been around since 1989. It was reauthorized in 2018. So it was not founded in 2018, it was in 1989. Each year in Florida, around 750,000 people misuse prescription pain relievers, and 165,000 live with an opioid use disorder. And it gets worse. In America, approximately 85% of the prison population has an active substance use disorder or were incarcerated in connection with drugs or drug use. Forced withdrawal in prison can be deadly. Doctor, how has your office supported the expansion of substance use treatment for incarcerated folks?
Thank you, Congressman, for that important question. The fact is today that any given day there's 2 million Americans incarcerated. 60 to 80% of them are incarcerated because of either drug use or drug-related crime. And when they are released, they're up to 120 times more likely to die from overdose or be reincarcerated. It is so critical becomes to get people the help they need, to get them treatment, so when they come out, that not only 85% less likely to die, but actually go back and assimilate in the community and be contributing members to the community. So we are both working within the Federal Bureau of Prisons to expand treatment, so anyone who wants treatment is offered treatment. We're also providing Medicaid waivers to states. 15 states have already applied for the waivers to get treatment available for 90 days before release. 2 have been approved, including California and Washington, which I believe was just approved last week.
Okay, thank you. And you brought this up. It's not just during incarceration. The first 2 weeks someone is out of jail, they are 129 times more likely to overdose.
Congressman, here's the problem. We have 18 to 42 years old. Number 1 cause of death today in America, this is working age population, is overdose. And these folks are being released and they're dying. I look at this also from an economic prosperity and a future for a country standpoint. And this is what this is not a 1 year or 2 year project. This is something we will continue to see results into the future.
Has your office developed recommendations on dealing with overdose in terms of reentry?
Yes, Congressman, we have developed a state model law for prisons and jails to look at how to measure, because we want to make sure the taxpayer dollars are being appropriately used to measure what works, what doesn't work as well, and we'll be happy to share.
I also want to hear what you have to say about the CMS 1115 waiver. Can you explain for people what that is and why it's so important?
Yes, Congressman. As I mentioned, the numbers do not lie. We have too many Americans dying that are being released back into the community because their threshold goes down and they go back and they end up dying, or worse, in being incarcerated. The 1115 waiver allows states to apply for the ability to treat people for 90 days before they are released. And then the most important piece of this is connecting. Oftentimes when people are released, they're lost in the community. Next time they know, either they're in prison or they're dead. This connection, transition of care is so important that this waiver allows. It's literally life-saving and life-changing for these individuals.
And as I understand it, my home state of Florida is not yet among the states making use of the waiver. Is that correct?
My understanding as well.
In 2022, the National Drug Control Strategy, you outlined specific goals and field performance goals for 2025. How confident are you that if given that amount of resources needed, that you can hit those targets that you've set for yourself?
These are goals that we've outlined of saving 165,000 American lives by 2025 are doable, but just